It's in. Count it. Is Gabber three. Melody Lalott. The exclamation point for Boise State.
The Broncos are back home in a snow-capped campus of Boise State University as the women's basketball team takes on the Utah State Aggies, who come into the game with a 3-14 record. We welcome you courtside into the office. Taylor Lundquist alongside the Bronco legend, Shay Shaw. Shay, this Boise State team has really been picking it up recently. 3 straight wins. In those games, they have been shooting over 37% from the three-point line.
Broncos they're finding their groove. They're kind of getting back to the roots of Bronco basketball, which is just scoring and just playing basketball. So you could see that. I'm hoping to see that again tonight.
We mentioned that Utah State 3-14 coming into today. Boise State, on the other hand, 12-6, and they have really been proving it recently. Here's how they look in terms of the standings. They've dropped a couple tough ones, but right now, like you said, they're back to Bronco basketball, finding their groove.
Yeah, I think in the Mountain West Conference, it's a very competitive conference, and anytime anyone can win a game. So I think that the Broncos have the opportunity to win out the rest of the season and the rest of the games and get into a little bit of a better standing.
Utah State 0-6 in conference play. They've lost their last 11, but their one bright spot is Cheyenne Stubbs, who is 3rd in the conference in scoring average.
Stubbs is a very competitive player. She likes to do a little bit of everything. She's undersized, so you're going to see a lot of secondary moves, but she can do it all.
Yeah, she certainly can, and we were talking to Coach Carrie-Ann Ramirez before this game, and she said she is a triple threat. She can defend, she can hit step-back threes, and like you said, she can get to the 10 and really expose that perimeter defense of Boise State.
Absolutely. Not only that, she does it on the rebounds. She's in there, she's getting aggressive and trying to get rebounds and get second chance opportunities.
The one thing that she will find as a roadblock is Boise State is incredibly good at home. 12-3 in ExtraMile Arena in the last 15 home games, and you can see it just through their splits. They play so much better here.
Yes, I think everyone always plays better at home, and the Broncos stay true to that, but they're really picking it up recently after dropping one, but it'll be a good game tonight.
I hate to disagree with you,
I know.
And I don't. I don't. You're absolutely right. Well, scoring has been contagious for the Broncos over the last few games. They hope to keep momentum on their side. The Broncos and the Aggies, more Mountain West basketball when we come back. And just like that, Abby Muse wins the tip for the Broncos and tips it back to the point guard, Mary Kay Narrow. Missed a few games last week, but since she has been back with the team, they have started firing. Maya Hansen misses the first 3 of the game. Utah State came out in that 2-3 zone, all familiar.
Still a good-looking shot by Maya Hansen. You want to get that ball into the key and get it out.
In the corner, 3-ball, airballed. Abby Muse finally able to come down with it. That was Bridget Mullings, who is shooting over 57% from 3 this season, and certainly didn't prove that on her first attempt. Remaining starters for the Broncos, we mentioned Maya Hansen, Mary Kay Narrow, Abby Muse. And down low with it is Elodie Lalott, whose left-handed layup can't go. Abby Muse pulls down the offensive board, gets fouled on her way up. And the final Broncos starter is Natalie Pasco, who leads the team in scoring average.
Great rebound by Abby. Great rebound, great strong move to go back up. She may have gotten away with a little bit of an overback, but I think she literally just jumped straight up and got the rebound.
I think given the size advantage that Abby has over just about everything, any referee at any given point could consider it an over the back.
Yes, 100%. I think it's just unfortunate how tall she is. It could or couldn't be called. Luckily that time it wasn't called.
And Muse goes 2 for 2 on her first trip to the line. Starting lineups for the Utah State Aggies. Samiana Suguturaga, number 1 in the Road Navy uniforms for Utah State. Cheyenne Stubbs rocking number 4. She has it in the corner, puts up the 3-ball, can't leave her open. And Boise State gets away with it that time. To round out the starting 5, Sky Miller, Bridget Mullings, and Livia Knapp. On the other end, Abby Muse, another couple of points.
Easy buckets when MK's pushing the ball.
And that is one of the unwritten, really the part of Mary Kay Narrow's game that doesn't show up in stat sheets. Sure, she'll get an assist for that one, but the tempo at which she keeps this offense running.
She does a great job of pushing the tempo and playing at the pace that we want to play out.
Kick back out from the top of the key. Narrow, just long. Comes down with it, does Maya Hansen skip past to Lalott, who gets blocked down low by Mullins.
Great job by Mullins, keeping her hands just straight up.
Over the top, high-low. Suguturaga on the receiving end.
That was a great lob pass. For a second, I thought she was shooting, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a little short. But then I saw Suguturaga, and that was just a perfect pass.
And you're already kind of seeing the Broncos' defense sag off of Mullins at the three-point line, despite how consistently she's shooting the ball. And that's going to be the first turnover for the Aggies. And our first substitution, the lanky freshman from Nisa, Oregon, Gracie Johnson, 6'6". She plays the back position in this full court 2-2-1 zone press. Easily breaking it is Narrow and Muse. Muse, right elbow, kicks back to Narrow. Swings it in the corner. Hansen down low. Lalott, Muse, work interior passing. She tried to get it out to Pasco. They're going to call a charge. Drawing it was Sky Miller. I don't even know if Abby Muse was given a time to recognize the defender there.
I think there was enough time because she was able to kind of catch the ball, take a dribble, and then she just kind of runs into her. Kind of plows her down.
Well, if you were looking at that replay, you could say, oh, well, her feet weren't set. It doesn't necessarily matter if the attacker lowers the shoulder. And that is an errant pass from Miller. Ends up with the Broncos. Narrow pushing the pace again.
Broncos are going to want to, on both sides of the floor, they're going to want to get the ball to the center of the key. It's the easiest way to break a 2-3 zone.
And you can
do anything.
Forecast that forward to a zone press, too.
Yep.
Really against any zone, all you have to do is get the ball in the middle, suck the defense in.
Yep, and it's broken. You have so many opportunities or chances to score once you get the ball in the middle.
Knapp, left wing, 3-ball. And the Aggies still searching for their first perimeter shot. Hansen lines one up of her own. Way short, rebound Johnson.
A lot of threes going up so far. We'll see if that kind of changes and they try to get the ball into the post a little bit more on both ends of the floor.
Stubbs has not been the typical attacker that she is and how aggressive she is on the offensive end. Kickback, Hansen to Narrow, misfire again. You're right, they are playing with a lot of tempo, but they're taking quick shots as well. It's really the first open shot, which doesn't necessarily make it the best one. No,
they have the opportunity to move the ball around the floor, get the defense to kind of lull them to sleep and get something that you want, and that's super easy.
5:45 left in the first quarter. Not a whole lot of scoring, just a 4-2 lead for the Broncos, and now Abby Muse is called for a foul.
That'll be her second in the first quarter, so I'm assuming Coach B's going to take her out so she doesn't get into trouble later. Yep.
Yeah, Trista Holt does, in fact, come in for Muse with her 2 fouls. Mary Kay Narrow takes a seat on the bench for Jada Clark, who has certainly received a lot more playing time the last few games, especially did when MK Narrow was out.
Yep, she's a great point guard, and she's been controlling the floor and just being a great addition on the floor.
Suguturaga able to get 1 of 2. Stubbs tried to slip through the passing lane and then slipped on a wet spot. Trista Holt just berated by 2 defenders. And bringing it the other direction is Knapp.
They're
Good dump down to Johnson. That's the best offensive possession you'll see from Utah State.
That was a great job of pulling the defensive player away from the post to get a nice, easy layup. Broncos are looking and trying to score in the post. It's just not falling. Utah State's doing a great job of playing straight-up defense.
And it really feels like the Aggies are just speeding up the Broncos when the Broncos are on offense. And Utah State has taken advantage of some mishaps and misfires from Boise State. A 5-4 lead for the Aggies with 5 to go. Welcome you back to Extra Mile Arena. A 5-4 lead for Utah State over Boise State. Shay, let's take a look at what both teams need to do.
Utah State's going to want to get to the lines, and so far they're doing a great job of doing that. They're also going to want to fill the passing lanes and get steals and get easy buckets. Boise State wants to use 1 to 2 players to contain Stubbs, and that's why you see them in a 2-3 zone. They also want to set the tone, which is what we've seen so far with MK pushing the ball.
Stubbs driving baseline on Thompson. And then a short shot from Gracie Johnson. But Shea to that. Johnson with the block at the free throw line. Boy, was giving space and then covered all of it with that long wingspan.
Yep.
She now posts up on Thompson.
That was a great shot by Thompson, but can't do anything about her length.
I want to go back to that key to the game for Boise State, which is set the tone. And in talking to Carrie Ann Ramirez before this game yesterday, she said this team has really learned how to win. All of their last 3 wins have been by single digits. And it really is because of that early season schedule that they had. They were facing a lot of tough teams, both on the road and at home.
Yes, they're doing a good job of just gritting their teeth and powering through everything and getting good team wins. It's not just one individual player. They're all working really well together.
Trista Hole's mid-range is rebounded by Tatum Thompson, who's double-teamed, able to pivot out of it. Skip pass from Clark. Pasco into the corner for Hansen. Still can't find the bottom of the net, can the Broncos.
That was good.
And they have gone over 5 minutes without a point.
That was good ball movement, great feet. It looked like a pretty shot. I thought it was going in. It's unfortunate that it didn't, but the Broncos are going to need to see it go through the basket and get things sparking and going again.
Yeah, that was some really good ball movement. Pretty much the best offensive possession that you can ask for. You get an offensive rebound, you get an inside out, and then you swing it all the way around for an open 3. On the other end, Knapp driving with the left, goes over the top, stolen by Thompson. Thompson wanted to push pace to Clark. Now finds an open Pasco in the corner. It's her favorite spot, but still can't hit.
Again, with the early shots, it looks like we're just trying to – Utah State's kind of rushing us and making us play a little bit faster than we want to.
Sugu Taraga lines one up. Air ball, offensive board. Johnson, who misses short on the bunny layup. Clark ahead to Hole. Hole goes towards the middle, got blocked, but there was a foul as well. So finally, Boise State will have a chance to put more points on the board.
Yeah, that was a great job by Trista to run the floor and be ready for the ball. And honestly, another great job of getting good position and going up strong.
And that's what Trista Hole provides to this team. Coming off the bench, a lot of energy as a post and a rim runner who is never afraid to sprint from one end to the next.
She sprints from baseline to baseline almost every single time up and down the court.
And finally, for the first time today, we see Danny Bays check into the game, who a few games ago set a new career high with 21 points. Her parents in the stands for this game all the way from Australia, as Trista Hole misses the front end of 2.
Hopefully Danny is able to get the three game going here. It's a little dry.
And I mentioned in our pregame, the last 3 games, all wins for Boise State. All games where they shot over 37% from the 3. Carrie Ann Ramirez said it all started when Danny Bays got hot.
Yeah, I think that usually it's Danny or Pasco that just kind of get the 3 game going. So with this 2-3 zone, eventually they're going to fall, so they just got to keep shooting them.
Second chance points for Utah State.
Got to box out, can't give second chance opportunities. Yes, they happen, but it makes the game a little bit tougher. And
good quick ball movement inside to Thompson, who lost the handle. Last touch by an Aggie. But that's what you see with Utah State's 2-3 zone. They kind of send two and then push off. So with quick passes around the perimeter, you can certainly get them out of their space.
Yeah, especially if you're moving the ball quickly, using ball fakes. I think that's going to be a huge thing.
Bays, 3-ball, cans it.
There we go.
And finally, Boise State regains the lead. They survived a bit of a tight one on the road against San Jose State earlier this week. They led for all but 33 seconds.
Those are tough ones.
Led by as much as 19 in the game. San Jose State, with 3 minutes to go, brought it back to a 1-point game. But like the coaching staff has said, this team has learned how to win, and they're not going to shy away from a little adversity.
Learned how to win, but they also really want to win right now.
Hansen, pass fake to a shot. There it is. It is contagious.
I just said it. Ball fakes, and then Danny Bays is going to get the 3-point game going, and she has so far.
And the Broncos offense absolutely feeding off it. Inside of 90 seconds remaining in the first quarter, an 11-7 lead for the home Broncos.
Great job by Danny. Ooh, not Danny. Maya. Yeah, Maya. Can't get my name straight today. Great job by Maya to have her hand in the pass lane and get a little bit of a deflection there.
Sugu Taraga will go to the bench by way of Tiara Hill-Brown, who will inbound the ball for the Aggies. Knapp denies the screen, drives in. Backdoor pass, kick out. Pump fake, puts it up with 2 on the shot clock. Offensive rebound. Aggies still looking, but a travel called on Bridget Mullins.
Mullins kind of hopped a little bit after she got that rebound to get better position, but never dribbled.
Number 11, Macy Smith into the lineup for Utah State.
And still really surprised that we haven't seen a whole lot of scoring opportunities for Cheyenne Stubbs. Just 1 field goal attempt and a miss at that, but give credit to the Broncos for sticking to their scouting report.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of using the 2-3 zone and working as a team to... Ooh, nice
Tatum
rebound.
off the backboard to herself, puts it up and got a foul.
Nice. I think she meant to do that. No, she didn't. She definitely didn't mean to do that, but good job by her to follow her own shot and get that rebound.
If that was intentional, how smart.
Yeah.
That is a veteran play from the sophomore.
Absolutely veteran. Get a better position on the board. Easier shot.
An 8-0 run over the last minute and 43, and now a chance to extend it for Tatum Thompson. Last touch by Trista Hull. Officials point in the opposite direction. Sub comes in, Ivory Finley, who had started all 17 games before today, was left out of the starting lineup, and now we only see her with 40 seconds left in the first period.
Could be due to some injury we don't know about and she's just limited minutes, or it could be she's sick and limited minutes. Who really knows, but it is unusual for her to start so many games and only come in with limited time.
Smart play by Mullings inside to get Trista Hull in the air with the pump fake.
Foul on number 22, Trista Hull. First personal, team foul 4 on the Broncos.
And Hull had just lost positioning from the get-go, was playing on that high side, Mullings deep position.
And then it only got deeper with her dribbles, and shot fakes will get the Broncos up. We do like to block shots.
The team does lead the Mountain West in block shots. They're second nationally in block shots. If you're looking at any scouting report of an opponent for Boise State, it just says get him in the air.
Yep, shot fake, and you'll go to the line. And that's what Utah State wants to do, is they want to get to the line, and they're already doing it.
The Aggies have shot 15 or more free throws in 7 of their last 8 games. So to your point, they do exactly know their strength, and that's their best percentage at the free throw line. Taneda comes in for Utah State for the last possession, gives Cheyenne Stubbs a brief breather. Shot clock turned off. 16 seconds for Maya Hansen to run the Boise State offense. Sends Natalie Pasco through. overloads against the 2-3 zone. Swing to Bays, 7 seconds. Hansen at the top. There's a foul called away from the ball.
I missed it.
They're going to call it on Teneda. So it's going to be a baseline out of bounds with 7.4.
Here we go. We get a second look.
Into the corner. Bays trying to drive middle. Goes through 2 defenders. Tipped around. Ends up in the hands of Utah State. And Teneda cannot put it up in time. So a slow start for Boise State. We're used to seeing that from them. But as always, they turn it around, and it starts with the 3 ball from Danny Bays. 13-9 after 1. Boise State leads it. Boise State back on top, 13-9 over Utah State. Shay, we were just talking in the break about how they had a slow start against this 2-3 zone from Utah State. And we talked about getting it into the middle, quick passes, but what does it take from someone occupying that middle spot of the offense?
That person that is at the center of the zone offensively, they need to look at the whole court. You need to be able to see the whole view. You need to see where your posts are, where your shooters are, and look for yourself first, because a lot of the time you're open. And it's just either a shot fake to get that post player up in the air and drive by him, and then other things, everything opens up once you get the ball to the center of the floor.
Well, the Broncos come out in a zone of their own out of the quarter. Dumped down high-low, first deflected by Bays, and then another travel on the baseline by Bridget Mullings.
I think she's just losing her footing a little bit when she gets the ball.
Press break, and all you have to do is really pass it back and forth and move your way up the floor. Tatum Thompson occupying that nail spot at the free throw line. Swinging around Bays. Pump fake, wants to drive baseline, picks it up, skip pass, Pasco from shooter to shooter, and it pays off.
Good looking 3. Love the ball movement, get in the zone. Everyone moving in the zone, it opens everything up.
And finally, you're starting to see what you expected to see from Boise State's offense. 3 ball from Finley is no good. And the lefty who came on late in that first quarter. Bays takes a tumble. Pass ahead to Pasco.
3 ball.
Bays then left wide open. She distracted the defense by going to the floor, got right back up and canceled.
She said, "I'm not here, don't look at me." And then drains it.
What a decoy. Absolutely meant to do it. That's like my favorite inbounds play in youth basketball, when one kid gets on his hands and knees and starts barking to distract the defense.
Yes, everyone just looks at him like, what?
There's some good footwork by Mullings, but can't finish at the rim. And this whole run coming with Mary Kay Narrow on the bench. Bays wants another and just rims out.
That was it. That was a good looking shot again. If you're feeling it, keep shooting it.
You could call it a heat check, but she was still wide open.
She was.
Stubbs then still can't hit. It's just a second shot attempt by Stubbs, who on the season has twice as many shot attempts as any of her teammates. Pasco left wide open, rattles out.
The way that ball missed is the exact same way Danny Bays' shot missed.
They're good-looking shots.
Yes, they're meant to go in.
Hill Brown, little turnaround from the short corner, rebound by Christensen. Pass ahead. Pasco left wide open, but blows it. Thompson offensive rebound, rattles it home. And that forces a timeout from head coach Kayla Ard and Utah State. Boise State finally starting to take advantage and not looking back. 21-9 Broncos. So they've been doing it all season long, Shay, but the three-point shot is really paying off for the Broncos. How are they finding so many open looks?
They're just picking apart the zone, moving the ball quickly. When you move the ball fast within the zone, you tire out the defense, and that's really what you want to do, so they slow down, and you can get an easy shot and usually a wide-open shot.
Broncos 4 for 13 from beyond the arc. Utah State 0 for 9 before that one, now 0 for 10 from deep. Up top, Narrow finds the middle with Christensen, kicks it back out. What a play.
Ooh.
That's just so easy.
Yep, that's exactly what you want to do. That's every time. It's going to be that easy every time.
And that's the other thing that the coaching staff said is if Utah State is going to dig on our posts. That's going to open up our shooters even more.
Yep.
And the Broncos are finally discovering that Christensen wants in on the action.
She's feeling it. I think the Broncos are just feeling it. I told you once Danny Bays hit her first three, it was game over, done for.
The Broncos are 6 of their last 8 from 3.
They're just knocking them down.
27-9. What a run for Boise State. Johnson misfires from the free throw line. Narrow comes to collect it and run the offense.
Threes are contagious, just like yawning.
Absolutely.
They really
Once
are.
one person does it, everyone does it, but that doesn't mean that they can't get it done on the inside. Abby Muse says, that might not be in my range, but I do know what is my forte.
It's my turn to hear my name. I like it. The Broncos are doing a great job of playing some team basketball and moving the ball and breaking down Utah State's zone.
Johnson, butterfingers, ends up with Muse. Narrow pushing. Short corner, Muse. Skip past Bays.
There is a mismatch. Do you see Christensen and Stubbs right now? Christensen needs to be taking advantage of that and putting her on the block.
If they get that ball at the free throw line with Christensen, because Stubbs really isn't going to go occupy one of those bottom spots, but if they get it down to the short corner and Christensen dives, then Stubbs might have to stay with her.
Yeah, it looked like they almost went into more of a matchup zone, not necessarily like a straight 2-3 zone. So Stubbs was more so on Christensen than really staying up high. I'd be curious kind of what they come out and do, but that was an interesting look for defense for Utah State.
Well, offensively for Boise State, Shay, it was a topic of conversation from the beginning of the season, how deep this team is. And there's really no drop-off once they go to the bench. They've got 14 points coming from the bench already today.
Yeah, that's one huge thing that the Broncos have, I think, more than most Mountain West teams, is that they have depth and they can go pretty far into their bench and not even really drop at all. If anything, they gain. They get better.
Back into the 2-3 zone. Falls the Broncos. Pasco swipes it away from Johnson, who's holding it over her head. Wants to attack. Good pivot. Inside to Muse, and Muse has scored 6 straight for the Broncos.
Great job by Muse. That looked more of a frustration foul by Sukaturaga.
And great patience from Pasco. Knew that she was guarded by 2. Jump stop, reverse pivot, and then find the trail.
They're really playing as a team right now and really looking for one another. If I don't have it, I know someone else is going to be open.
Abby Muse, the first player in the game to hit double digits off that. She's got 11 on 4 of 5 shooting and 3 for 3 from the charity stripe.
Abby's doing a great job of playing her role and being a leader on this team.
I'm really impressed by the movement, pushing off, all the communication that's going into this 2-3 zone from Boise State. Cheyenne Stubbs finally starts to go through a couple defenders, and then they lose sight of her. Her 3-ball still no good. Utah State 0 for 12 from 3. Another offensive rebound. Ball still on the floor, and touched last by Mullings.
Stubbs is showing a little bit of frustration. She's missed a few shots. She's not really being aggressive. I think Boise State's zone is doing a good job of making her stay at the top and pass the ball instead of kind of doing what she wants to do. All right, Utah State looks like they're in more of a man.
And Danny Bays called for a travel, and I think she knew it because she didn't even look back at the official.
She did not travel. She grabbed the ball with a jump stop and then immediately pivot, and that was not a travel.
.416 left in the second quarter, and Utah State trailing by a good number, 34-9. Broncos lead. Stubbs another turnover. That's the 9th turnover of the half for Utah State. And Pasco has to get it across half court and finally relieves the pressure by handing it off to MK Nero. Bays crossover, step back inside to Muse. Working on Mullings, kick back Bays. Bays lines it up, bottoms!
Easy money, especially if you just get the ball down to the block and pass it right back out. Your feet are set, you're aimed at the basket. That's an easy shot every time.
Boise State has made their last 7 field goals, and they're up by 28. They have held Utah State scoreless this entire second quarter. Over 6.5 minutes have come off the clock in this period. The 10th turnover of the game for Utah State. Nero pushing tempo. Kick back over the top, Pasco. And she wanted it the first time. They'll feed in.
The whole bench wanted it too. They all stood up waiting for her to shoot it. Ooh,
Bays
nice.
denies the screen. Great read and an easy layup for the Aussie.
She's not just a shooter. She can drive too. So if you take away her shot, she's going to get to the basket.
Danny Bays with 11 first half points matches her teammate Abby Muse for the lead. Deep 3-ball, still no good. Utah State's offense is absolutely sputtering.
You can see it. Utah State literally just looks already defeated. They just don't really want to be out there on the floor right now.
And Boise State is proving, they said these last few games, they want to really emphasize winning each quarter, starting fresh. It's a 0-0 game at the beginning of every quarter, and they have really come out hot. They are winning the second quarter 26-0.
That's I don't have any words.
I've never played in, watched, called, coached a game where that's been the case.
I don't think I have it either. I know we've held them to some pretty low numbers, but
another offensive rebound for Boise State.
Trista Hull is a beast right now. That's her. I mean, the second chance opportunities are coming from her.
Oh, Nero caught her defender napping, missed the layup. Lalott, the offensive board, blocked away
That was
by
a
Alize Verdon.
clean block. That was a good-looking block right there. Broncos are in a man.
Mullings at the free throw line. Shot fake drive. Poked away by Lalott. Will repost. Splits through 2. Puts it up with the left and finally gets it to fall. 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the third quarter. They have their first points of the period.
I'd just say great job by the Broncos of playing good team defense and not really allowing Utah State to get any second chance opportunities.
Posting up the Parisian who just misfires. And brought down by Mullings. Stubbs into the lane. Nice English.
Stubbs doing what Stubbs wants to do is get to the basket, and now that the Broncos are in a man, they're going to have to go to that guarding her with 1 or 2 players, not just one-on-one, because they're going to lose that battle every time.
And for the third leading scorer in the conference, Cheyenne Stubbs just scored her first points of the game. There are not many games where she has to wait this long to hear her name called out after making a basket.
Great job by the Broncos of doing that and stopping her.
Scouting report has been executed to a T on Stubbs.
I think that's one of the things that Danny maybe said last post-game is that they're really knowing their scout and knowing who they're playing against, and it's really showing.
And this team has gained so much wisdom throughout the season. Maya Hansen executing her on her own. Little fall away from the mid-range, pretty. 41-13, Boise State leads, 30 seconds left in the half, and about a 4-second difference between the shot and game clock. Inside, Verdon. Offensive rebound on the other end by Crocker. Up to Bays. Long range three.
Ooh.
Just off the
Just
front
short.
iron. But what a quarter it was. Boise State wins the second 28-6 and handily in front of the Broncos.
Danny just really starting, pulling it up, and we'll be back.
Well, it was a slow start, but the Broncos can pretty much kick up and relax after a very solid second quarter. 41-15 the lead for the Broncos. And Shay, we talked about it early on. You actually called it. You said this is going to start by Danny Bays getting him going from the three-point line. That's exactly what happened. 7 3 balls for Boise State.
I just know this team, and I know Danny. I'm just kidding. No, but really, she really brings a spark coming off the bench, and it's the spark comes with 3, and they generally have been struggling hitting any threes until she comes in and hits one. So I just knew what was going to happen, and everyone saw hers go through, and they're like, oh yeah, all right, we can do this.
You're turning into LeBron. He's like, I knew Kobe was going to get 81.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying
that?
that?
Yes, I am saying that. If I said it, I knew it.
Well, Boise State is 7 for 17 from the three-point line. That's 41% for those keeping track at home. And Utah State on the other side is 0 for 13 from beyond the arc. And for those keeping track at home, that's 0%. But Boise State has been scoring in other ways, and Abby Muse doing it in a number of ways on her own.
I think that's why the Broncos have been able to score from threes. Abby's being aggressive down low. She's getting second chance opportunities, getting those fouls. She's getting to the line. She's doing what it takes.
And Abby Muse has 11 points in just 9 minutes. Normally, she's been heavy in the rebounds column and blocks. She's got 1 block. She's got 2 rebounds. They haven't really needed her much. Just playing 9 of the first 20 minutes in this game, but everyone else is picking up slack. You look at the rest of the team. Danny Bays with 11, Maya Hansen with 5, Natalie Pasco with 6, Alyssa Christensen with 3. Everyone's doing their job, and then Tatum Thompson leads the way with 6 rebounds.
They're really just playing as a team and trying to win together and doing it whatever it takes.
Well, the Broncos had a period where they were 8 for 8 from the field. They ended the half just 1 for 7 on their field goal attempts. So certainly they don't have a whole lot of shooting momentum necessarily going into the half, but they know that they've made the right shots.
Yeah, they feel good going up to the locker room right now, and Coach P's probably telling them something. Hey, we still have a second half. You got to bring that same aggression, bring that same shooting, just play our game, and we'll be fine.
And I've brought up this stat a lot. 10 assists on 15 made field goals. That's an incredible percentage. Boise State just 3 turnovers as well. They lead the Utah State Aggies 41-15 at the intermission. We'll be back. Well, Boise State has led the way for the entire game just about. They only trailed for a moment in the early parts of the first quarter. They're up 41-15 at halftime. Taylor Lundquist with Shay Shaw as we take a look at how dominant Boise State really has been through these first 2 quarters.
They're really being dominant from the 3. I think Danny Bays is the one who got it going and getting us at 41%, but they're also rebounding, doing a great job. They're not turning the ball over.
That's the biggest thing that stuck out to me is they're playing really clean offense.
Yes, they have, they're not playing how they've been turning the ball over. They're being very responsible with the ball and making good, strong passes, and honestly, just great basketball.
That second quarter hosted the longest scoring run of the Broncos for this season, 26 unanswered points, as well as the 28 they scored in that quarter was the highest scoring quarter that they've had all year long.
I think that just comes with them wanting to play as a team, and they're finally getting some grit, and they're just, I want to win. We want to be one of the top teams, and I think that's what we're finally seeing. So,
Shay, you've been in locker rooms like this. You've played in blowout wins before. Certainly in your illustrious career, I'm going to continue calling you the Bronco legend. Especially when Abby Muse called you a legend.
I know.
that one time.
Abby,
I'm never going to let you live that down.
Why'd you give him that fuel, Abby? I'm talking to you directly. I'm not a legend. I'm still young, all right? I'm not a legend until I'm a little bit older. At least let me hit 30 before you start calling me a legend.
Fair enough. But my question to you is, what is this halftime conversation? How do you come out in the second half and continue to build on something when you're already up 26 at the half?
It is tough knowing that coming down you have such a high lead, but you really can't let up. You got to keep being true to who you are and playing good basketball, aggressive team basketball, but you really can't let up. Coach P probably once it gets, if we extend this lead a little bit more, he's gonna want us to let up. But in my opinion, you can't do that, because when the games get tough and they are closer games, you're gonna want that. What's the word I'm looking for? You're just gonna want to be able to play in scenarios like that.
Well, Boise State lost their 2 conference games against Wyoming and Nevada. They've won their last 3, and at this point in the season, in the conference schedule, they're trying to make a statement saying, hey, we've turned this thing around and we're ready to go. The last 20 minutes of play coming up next, the Broncos leading 41-15 over Utah State. Back here in ExtraMile Arena, and some antennas are bobbing around because they're sensing a win just 20 minutes away, potentially. I can't call it now, but Boise State handily ahead, a 26-point margin, 41-15. The Broncos lead the Aggies of Utah State. Shea Shaw, let's look ahead. We've done enough looking back at that first half, which was incredible, but coming up on the schedule, Boise State continues in Mountain West play, and they've got a tough one coming up on the schedule. UNLV easily on top of most leaderboards, both in standings and categories and stats and everything. Yes. The Running Rebels are solid.
Yes, they're absolutely one solid team, and they're one of the teams to beat. But with the way the Broncos are playing right now, they're playing really, really aggressively as a team. I think they're doing everything as a team, and they're wanting to win. So I think that that's going to be a really good game to watch.
And then they'll go on the road, but in the back half of the conference schedule, they will be at home a good amount, but they will end the season at Colorado State against a very good Rams team.
And it's a good Rams team, but also playing at Colorado State with a different elevation, that higher elevation, it really does get you. It's not Wyoming, but it does affect how you play, so the Broncos are going to have a tough one ahead of them.
And before they get to all of those games, they're going to have to close this one out. 20 more minutes of play for the Broncos. Shea and I were just talking, how long does this team keep the foot on the gas?
You keep it on it until coach says you need to let up, because sometimes he doesn't like to get close to 100, or I don't know if we'll get that high, but you got to keep the pedal to the metal and keep going and playing the basketball you want to play. And
Coach Gordy Presnell has been in the game long enough where he doesn't need to see his teams run it up on anyone. He just wants to see everyone get playing time. And the biggest thing that we talked about before is these are the games where you establish the depth that has been such an advantage for you, because as much playing time as you can get for that back end of the bench in conference play especially, that's huge.
Yes, getting them the experience, getting them comfortable playing at home with a crowd, just it's going to be valuable always.
And in a conference like Mountain West that is so competitive top to bottom, you never know when your name's going to get called.
Exactly. Always be ready. Always know what the defense is. Know your scout. You just always be ready.
Original starting 5 on the floor for both sides. Suga Taraga picked up her dribble in the middle. 3-second violation called on Utah State. And it was 10 turnovers in the first half. And the second half, first possession, the Aggies turn it over again for an 11th time.
And the Broncos give it right back to
the
them.
Answer!
Tough possession for both teams. It's always tough to start on turnovers, but.
And Mary Kay Nero is kind of grabbing her left fist and shaking out her wrist a little. Must have caught her wrong or jammed it. You're right, yeah.
Those are never fun. Those hurt.
And it's not really something you can just avoid.
Nope. It just happens, and you got to just keep playing. Play through it.
Long 3-ball. And no good once again by Sky Miller. Nero pulls down the long rebound. Finds Hansen. Swings it around the perimeter. Pasco in the corner. Fires. Just circles out.
That was a good-looking shot. Way to move the ball. MK's doing what Broncos want to do and pushing the ball. And
Stubbs, just 2 points in the game after averaging over 15 a game for Utah State. Narrow comes over from the weak side, but not early enough for Bridget Mullings to put it up and in.
Broncos have switched to a man, so I think they're maybe just a little bit slower on their communication on screen packages. I think MK has an opportunity when she does that cut. Just stop at the key and look for the ball. No one would be even close to guarding her.
I think Utah State's defense is so used to that circle that MK is doing that if she just throws it off one time, cuts it short, just find the seam.
Just play a little basketball sometimes. You
don't
have to always
run this full
the play.
set. Yeah, exactly. Hansen with 2 seconds. Has to put it up. Got rim. And pulled down by Mullings, who tries to rip it away from 2 different Broncos, but they're going to get a foul on MK Narrow before the held ball.
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like she came in and grabbed the ball immediately.
Well, it's a good thing we get another look at it.
Yep, she just came in and grabbed the ball.
That, I think, honestly could have been a no call, too. There wasn't really much of a hold, either on the ball or the arm of Mullings. Knapp dribble handoff with Stubbs. Hard screen by Mullings. Sugu Turaga up at the top.
They get away with that because she's not yet dribbling. She dribbles like right after the screen.
Oh, and a mishandle by Sugu Turaga on the short roll. And another turnover for Utah State. Full court pressure has been more token than anything.
It's not even really pressure. It's just to not let us pace how we want to be pacing.
They just don't want to be able to give them a secondary transition, secondary break. Over the top was Mullings and caught just enough arm on Abby Muse, so she'll have 2 free throws after being 3 for 3 from the line in the first half.
Yeah, she got her head. I thought for a second, at first glance, I'm like, oh, she got all ball, so Abby got lucky there, but no, she knocked her in the head.
I always think that's the hardest contact to see as an official, and I have reffed a few games. I mean, high school, middle school games, but being an official is one of the hardest things ever. Because there are so many subjective calls. That's entirely subjective.
It is entirely subjective, and I think I've had a couple of the refs ask me if I want to get into reffing, and I'm like, I don't know, because I feel like there's too much subjectivity to it, and I would be upset if I make the wrong call.
It's almost a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Lalott is sent to the floor. Mullings is slowly to the hardwood as well. She gets helped up by Olivia Knapp. It was a foul with that contact on Mullings, and now Mullings has a towel to her nose.
I don't even know what happened. Oh.
And Mullings just closed that space on Lalott. Lalott didn't know she was directly behind her.
No.
And kind of backed up into the face of Bridget Mullings. That's just a basketball play.
Yep.
It's a contact sport.
I've had many bloody lips and fat lips and black eyes. It happens.
Inside, Lalott. Kick back out, narrow. Pasco in the corner. Another repost for Lalott. Skip pass, Hansen.
This is some really good ball movement by the Broncos.
And then a telegraphed pass that was stolen away by Sugu Turaga. Sky Miller, who's scoreless on the evening, travels and commits her 4th turnover of the game.
Utah State is really struggling with turnovers. I think it looks like this half they're trying a little bit harder to want to win and want to climb back into this game. They're just still making those little tiny mistakes.
Great deep positioning on the inside. Johnson came over and got a block on Muse. Just about the only person in this conference who can claim that.
She's the only one that's taller than her and arms that might be longer than hers, but with Abby knowing that she's got to use her ball fakes and maybe those secondary moves.
Narrow barely able to get it in before a 5-second call. Swings it around to Hansen. Inside to Lalott. Johnson reaching over the top, and they'll get her.
Great job by Elodie to keep her on her back and get that call.
Third team foul already of the quarter. Not even 4 minutes into the period. Abby, quick shot off the glass and good.
That was good quick. She knew Johnson was coming up, and great job of getting it quick when she had the time.
There are two ways to completely negate a shot blocker. One is take away their space, and two is don't give them time. And Abby Muse did a great job. Had a block, but just enough arm on the shot by Gracie Johnson.
I think she knew it, too. She's like, oh, I got her a little bit. She just wanted payback.
And, yeah, she did indeed. She had fingertips on the ball, but a lot of arm-to-arm contact.
The tough thing about a good, clean block is you got to let the ball release from the player's hand. Otherwise, it's most likely going to be called as a foul.
Johnson, a pretty good shooting stroke from the line as she goes 2 for 2.
Not that it's unusual for post, but it is unusual for post to be good free throw shooters.
It absolutely is. So if you sense a little surprise in my voice, that is exactly why. Narrow left open, 3 ball, just short. Lalott, high motor, chases after it. Pasco, pump fake. Hansen, pump fake. Drives in, 2 dribble pull up, got it.
Nice. Got to see it go through the basket. That was good ball movement, good shot fake, and just a pretty pull-up.
MK Narrow still searching for her first points. 0 for 5 from the field, 4 of those being from the perimeter. In the corner, Knapp, a pump fake, a dump down to Johnson from the mid-range. And a weak side touch by Sugataraga as he goes out of bounds. The only Broncos to play 5 or more minutes without scoring are MK Narrow and Elodie Lalott, both 0 for 5 from the field. And a little surprised to see that based on the looks that Lalott has had.
The dribble
misses
wasn't
that one
needed.
again, just had to put it right back up. Stole it away, got blocked by Johnson, ends up with no one in particular, and it was last touched by Sky Miller. 47-19, they are getting help from just about everyone. Maya Hansen with 7 points to help out. 47-19, the lead for the Broncos. Back here in ExtraMile Arena, still a large lead for the Boise State Broncos, and you shouldn't really expect a whole lot different in this arena. Defend the X, and Boise State so good at home, holding their opponents to just such a crazy low number. The highest scoring defense, which means that they hold their opponents to the fewest points. The highest scoring defense in the Mountain West.
Yeah, they're keeping everybody below 56.6 points per game and holding them to 35.9%. So it's really good defense, and I think a lot of that is our crowd. The Broncos have a decent crowd, and I think they're feeding off of that and just doing great.
And you couple that with the fact that Utah State's offense has only put up 70 or more points in one game this year, and you have to expect that Boise State is going to put on a defensive show. They have exactly proven that. They held the Aggies to just 9 first-quarter points, 6 in the second, and so far 4 in the third, but another couple opportunities for Cheyenne Stubbs, who has not seen the ball go through the basket a whole lot this afternoon. Just 1 for 6, and she'll now have her first chance at the free throw line.
We haven't seen the aggression or the drive from Stubbs. I think the Broncos have done a great job of using the whole team to guard her and not let her get into the lane. Except for this last drive.
Of course. She's had a couple penetrating drives, but every single time she has to split through 2 defenders, and the help side defense has been spectacular against Stubbs.
Yep, they're doing what it takes as a team to stop her.
And she goes 1 for 2 on her trip. Six minutes into the third quarter, and Utah State just hit 20 points. Defensive display by the Broncos. High-low look, great interior passing. Thompson was blocked and fouled by Sugaturaga.
The refs thought about that one. I felt like they didn't really want to call it, but that was definitely a foul.
I think Hull did a good job of still creating an angle, but if she passed that first look rather than going to the opposite side of the key, might have been an easier, just basically a tip it.
Yep,
for,
little quick,
for Thompson.
Especially if you throw it up to Thompson. She can tip it in, so I think that's maybe something the Broncos need to add to their repertoire.
You see in starting lineups, Maya Hansen always goes out with a massive chest bump with Tatum Thompson, and Tatum gets up.
She does. She's so athletic, and she can just float in the air.
Yeah, Maya Hansen knew it out of position as Stubbs went over the screen.
Once you kind of stand up and let her wrap around you, that's going to always be a foul. Usually it's a hip check. Yep.
Alexander Fairbanks into lineup for Utah State.
Back into the 2-3 zone of the Broncos. Stubbs calls out the play. Just not a whole lot of occupation in the middle of that zone. 1 second to go. Sky Miller has to force it up. Didn't touch rim. And a shot clock violation.
It's really tough to break a zone when you don't have a good center. Or, like, not necessarily center as a position, but someone that is in the center of the zone to break it up and be the distributor.
I mean, they were going for round one, which in concept sounds like it could break a zone, but when that one is playing on the block, it doesn't really accomplish anything. But Pasco's shooting does. Knocks one in from three.
Bases on the floor. Bases on the floor.
She's going to get it going.
She didn't get it going.
She draws attention.
Exactly. She draws the attention of other players and gives them the opportunity to get going from the three.
Danny Bays and Natalie Pasco have combined 6 for 11 from the three-point land. Baseball pass ahead. Hansen to Thompson, who misses it the first time. Got her own rebound, put it up, and got fouled by Gracie Johnson.
Good pass and good job on Thompson to get out there and get it.
I have been very impressed by Gracie Johnson so far, outside of that errant foul. But she's playing in just her 8th game of the season as a 6'6" freshman for a struggling team, and she's got 4 blocks. She's added 4 points, looked good from the free throw line, 3 rebounds.
She's going to develop into a really great player for Utah State. I think once the strength and years kind of come with her, she's going to be a really great addition to the team. Not that she isn't already, because she is doing a phenomenal job tonight.
Last touch by Sky Miller on what was supposed to be an easy backdoor pass from Knapp. And Utah State thinks the official missed the call. And once again, I do not envy that role. Bays, corner 3.
Easy money.
Can't stop it.
No, you can't.
Inside out.
That's the best positioning for your feet as a three-point shooter to get it off quick. You're already set. It's just, ooh.
I think Johnson was partially blocked.
I thought there was a little bit of a tip or maybe a foul there.
They didn't call it.
Usually you don't miss that short. Ooh, yep.
This is what concerns me about that play, is that's basically an undercut.
Yes.
Tatum had no idea that Verdon was even there. Verdon basically came underneath her. You see, she just stepped in as Thompson was there. That should never be a charge.
No, she didn't get the opportunity to fully land. If you see on that replay, she kind of winces a little bit and lifts her foot up. So she potentially could have hurt herself, and that shouldn't have been a call. It should have been definitely not a charge.
Stubbs into the lane. Floater finally rattles one home. She's got just 5 points. 55-22. And that's the same thing. That's an undercut, and Verdon was trying to do it again. That's a dangerous play.
Yes,
and that's all the way out at half court.
Hopefully the refs start recognizing that that's kind of what's happening here. Because it could lead to someone, and she's trying to go for the steal, but just runs into her. But again, she's not giving them the opportunity to land, which is always a scary situation.
And Bays always cool from the free throw line. And Jada Clark will have some time on the floor, being the general of the offense. And it is so easy, or at least the point guards for Boise State make it look so easy just to distribute to all the weapons that they have, whether it be the post or the shooters. The versatile X factor of Tatum Thompson. Johnson operating from the high post. Blocked by Hull. Ends up with Jada Clark. Has a free run. Kept looking for someone else. Blocked from behind by Gracie Johnson. What a track down. Her 5th block of the game to tie her career high.
I think if she wouldn't have been looking for everyone else, she would have been a lot further out in front of everyone.
It's like, hey, Jada, if you see the rim and no one in front, just go.
Yep, exactly. That's all you. Just take it and run.
Good on the first is Jada Clark, who continues to add to this Boise State lead. 59-22.
Broncos let that one roll a while. I would have made her pick it up at half so the clock starts going.
Stubbs, pump fake, reset. First 3 of the game for Utah State on the 16th attempt. And finally, Cheyenne Stubbs sees one go through from distance.
That's tough. 1 for 16.
Thompson, pull up. Ends right back in her palms. Pops around to Trista Hull. Kicks it back to Clark. Around to Pasco. And just up the front, iron, almost another offensive rebound, and then just an errant pass from Verdon.
Slow down. Broncos need to slow down. Just get one good shot.
They don't have too much time, just 3 seconds into Thompson. Fall away, foul. A bailout foul on Bridget Mullings. And Thompson, smiling, said, I just had to throw it up.
Didn't have the time.
Or they might actually get napped coming from behind.
Yeah, I think they may have, because that's what kind of rotated her and made her miss.
Boise State, 14 for 18 from the free throw line. It's a pretty solid performance, and they've only allowed Utah State 8 free throws in the game. Overall, pure dominance, 61-25. We've said it once, we'll say it again. It starts and ends with Danny Bays. Broncos on top with 10 minutes to play. We'll be back on the Mountain West Network. Shay, the coaching staff knows it. The opponents know it, and we now know it. Danny Bays has been a catalyst for this Broncos offense all season long, and she's only getting more comfortable.
She really is. She's finding her groove and finding her shot, and just, I feel like every time she gets the ball, she's like, this is going in, and they are.
Incredible confidence from the Aussie. Just a sophomore, and part of this young class, young group that has matured so much from last season to now, and now in the heart of conference play, they are proving that they can compete with anyone in this Mountain West Conference.
Yes, when they can play as a team and play together, they really can compete with anyone.
Caitlin Burgess in for her first minutes of the game. A little low to high action from Hull to Thompson. That's beautiful. Playing from the back end of that 2-3 zone. Wow.
You can see the whole floor back there. And that was just really good ball movement. They waited, they were patient, and just got a good, easy shot that they wanted.
Into the body of Hull with a block. Trista Hull holding her ground, keeping her verticality. It's an all-around great defensive play. Clark back to Burgess. Burgess down low, Thompson. Thompson on the other end to Hull, blocked from behind by Verdon.
I'm waiting for a replay because I feel like that wasn't really that clean, but maybe it was.
But just picking apart this defense. Bays left wide open.
It's on the mark. Bays' shots are really, they're there.
Pull up by Knapp. Great rebound. When your guards rebound as well as Boise State, you always are going to win the rebound margin, and they do almost every time. When are they going to learn that you're going to have to guard her?
Maybe never, honestly. Someone's going to have to figure it out eventually, maybe when she starts hitting a couple in a row.
Off balance pull up by Stubbs. Rebound Verdon.
She threw it up, but she knew it was off balance and tried to get her own rebound.
I think Stubbs knows how this game ends, and she's just trying to add something to her scoring column. Thompson left wide open inside. Good find by Bays. Thompson's got 12.
I think Bays kind of went for the lob, and Thompson went to go do it, but then realized she was literally directly under the basket.
It's tough when it's coming from the same side of the basket. Rattles out from three, out of the hand of Sky Miller. Bays the rebound, looks ahead to Hull. Kick back to Thompson, finds Burgess, up and under, can't finish. But unselfish display by Boise State as a couple subs come in. Alyssa Christensen for Tatum Thompson. Danny Bays will take a seat for Lindsay Lavrovich.
Really just a lot of unselfish play. They're wanting each other to score and wanting to just have fun.
7:50 remaining. And Olivia Knapp has to retuck the jersey. I always found that an obscure obsession that referees have.
It really is so annoying. But it's mainly it's so that fingers don't get caught in the jerseys. And
I certainly understand the reasoning. Is they are
sticklers about it.
Absolutely.
Now they're being a little too unselfish. No one wants to shoot it.
Lavrovich ends up with it, finds Jada Clark, who pulls. And as we call it in the day, a Canadian swish.
Why have I never heard of that?
You've never heard that?
No.
Oh, that was big when I was still playing.
Oh, my goodness. Did you have a lot of them? Is that why it was big?
No comment. Stubbs pulls. I don't know if she saw much of the rim on that attempt, and then Trista Hull pulls down another rebound, her 6th of the game, and gets fouled immediately. I said there's a high motor as describing Elodie Lalott, but Trista Hull has it in spades as well.
I agree. I think she just really tries to add value whenever she's on the floor. Oh,
and Lavrovich threw it right into the hands of Sugu Taraga, who finishes on the other end.
That was just literally a direct pass into her hand. She saw it coming. I saw it coming. I was like, oh, I see her wanting to get that steal.
Oh, Trista Hull, backdoor cut. Christensen finds her.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Great pass. Way to see her down low and cutting. And I love
They're
the high
just playing
post.
pretty basketball.
They really are.
And the posts are working off each other really well. The interior passing has been spectacular. Hull brings down another rebound. Hull from mid-range.
I think she thought she was a little further
Up
further
and
back.
over the top. Over the backboard, out of bounds.
Huckman back into the lineup, or checking into the lineup for the Broncos, number 5.
And Allie Heckman will check in for Jada Clark. So a full bench squad. The only two who haven't seen action are Mackenzie Nero and Sydney McQuieter. Wouldn't be surprised to see them rather shortly. With this 40-point lead, just under 6 minutes to play.
Got to find the pockets.
Christensen, kick back out, Burgess.
Money.
Sure.
Quick, pretty shot. Broncos just are hitting tonight.
The 10th three of the game for the Broncos, 10 for 26. And for the 4th consecutive game, they're shooting over 37% from beyond the arc. Allie Wetta, number 3 in Navy in the game for the first time. Ivory Finley steps through, reverse pivots, kicks back, up and over the top. Suga Taraga stolen away by Christensen and ends up with Hull. On the shot clock never reset. Sydney McQuieter goes to check in at the scorer's table at the next whistle. Christensen, a slow back down, kicks out Lavrovic.
Ooh, everyone's getting a taste of the three-pointer. I like it.
11 threes made by Boise State. And a foul called underneath. Ivory Finley will have 2 shots at the free throw line coming up. And we will take our last break of the game. Burgess starting it for everyone. Lavrovic got in too, and Boise State's up big. Well, back here in ExtraMile Arena, and crowds getting excited for a big lead, 73-27. Boise State on top of the Utah State Aggies. Everyone getting in on the action today, Shay, and these are the games that you enjoy seeing. And we've said it once, but this team coming off the bench has not fallen off whatsoever. They're still executing the game plan. They're still making shots, and they're just playing pretty basketball.
They're just having fun and just doing what it needs to be done. Playing Bronco basketball.
Burgess trapped, finds Christensen, and an easy break of pressure.
Great job by Christensen to keep moving and find that open pocket in the middle of the zone.
And really just watching her at the free throw line, her feet never stop moving, to your point. Great job of staying active.
Yep.
Making those too high in the 2-3 zone of Utah State kind of work around her. And it's hard to pick her up on an and one opportunity for Utah State. Caitlin Burgess called for the foul as Ivory Finley will have a chance to convert.
Right there.
Yeah, and that arm coming down just enough. Good job by Finley of
Attacking.
knowing that her arm was going to be right there, going right through it. It's a James Harden type play. But they pretty
Playing
much
through
took
the
that out of
contact.
the game
Yeah, they
because
have.
of him. McQuieter,
Wow.
Heckman, blocked again by Johnson. I think she just got a piece. And now a tie-up with
Johnson
Gracie
stuck in
Johnson's
there.
leg in the middle.
Her foot was in the jump ball. That was a great job by the Broncos breaking the press without even really dribbling. That's how you break a press. Well, that's the best way to break a press.
That's how I learned how to do it. Is my coach would stab a basketball, take all the air out of it, and said, "Go break a press." It was great.
Kind of aggressive to stab a basketball.
Certainly.
It's a waste
Certainly.
of a basketball too, but I get his point.
And Stubbs was held just briefly by Burgess. Good read by Cheyenne Stubbs to get into the passing lane.
Team foul 3 on the Broncos. Macy Smith checks back into the lineup for the
And here comes Mackenzie Narrow, gets her first minutes of the game. She'll check out Alyssa Christensen. And now everyone has minutes on the box score for Boise State. High post, Johnson, one dribble, goes to the left, can't finish. Lavrovich. Good find by Heckman. Another block by Gracie Johnson. She's got 6, maybe 7. Narrow.
Ooh,
Off the mark.
I thought it was going to bank it.
Oh, and Johnson saved it right underneath the basket and fouled Burgess. Burgess has an and one opportunity.
I wanted to scream "oh," but I hate hearing it when I listen to myself. But that was a great play by Burgess to just be there and know where she is in the basket and get a nice reverse layup.
A cardinal sin of basketball is saving the ball back under your opponent's basket.
Yep, that's something
And then
you just
fouling it
don't
right
do.
after.
That is, yeah, really something you just don't do. You're just giving them the ball. I did it one time in, like, elementary school. Never again.
Never make the same mistake twice.
Nope.
Got to stay coachable. Stubbs takes the screen, pulls up, fouled by Lavrovich. And I think everyone in Extra Mile saw that one.
foul on Lindsay Loveridge, first personal team foul 4 on Boise State.
I saw a clean block.
Cheyenne Stubbs with the line, shoots
It wasn't a clean block.
Oh, jeez, you homer. Stubbs good on the first. 76-33, 2:35 left in the game. And at this point, those currently occupying the Bronco bench, starting to look ahead towards the next matchup, will certainly be a upgrade in competition, let's say.
Yes, it'll be a definitely tougher opponent, and I think that the Broncos are up for the challenge, especially with the way they've been playing. So I'm excited to watch that game.
8 seconds. Heckman over the top, Narrow. McQuieter from the short corner.
Tipped.
And it was deflected by Johnson again.
Utah State ball.
Gracie Johnson has been credited with 8 blocks.
I mean, she 6'6", right? Yeah, that's pretty tall. And adding her arms, if she just stands straight up, like, probably not driving, or I'm trying to get her in the air.
And again, playing in just her 8th game of the season as she commits the turnover. But she will certainly add a little refreshment to this Utah State defense. McQuieter going over Johnson, but couldn't find the bottom of the net.
That was a good, solid move by McQuieter, and just didn't go in.
Left wide open, Ivory Finley from the corner. Long rebound, Sugutaraga. And last touched by Mackenzie Narrow.
Yeah, she just hit it right off her own leg.
Boise State has tied their most three-point field goal attempts on the season with 29. Cheyenne Stubbs able to get that one to trickle up and over the rim and cut the lead to 40. Narrow is shoved by Ivory Finley. She gives a little chuckle to the ref. Just because you didn't mean to doesn't mean it's not a foul.
Right. She definitely didn't mean to and tried to stop herself. But at the end of the day, foul's a foul.
60 seconds remain. And Boise State can just about salt this one away. The 9th block of the game for Gracie Johnson.
It's easy when she can stay in literally the center of the key and just extend her reach.
She could block a free throw from the baseline.
She could. That's I think that's very accurate.
Burgess just rolls out. Stubbs pulls and hits. We'll finish the game with 13 points, as all Boise State has to do is get it across the half-court line and chalk up another win at home. McQuieter, a turnover with 10 seconds to go, and now Finley rolls it to Suguturaga, 2 seconds. Smith, air ball, put back by Stubbs. I said she'll finish with 13, and she proves me wrong. She finishes with 15. A 76-41 win. Boise State dominated all the way through. Shay, what was the biggest thing?
I think the biggest thing is that this was a really good team win. They did a great job of playing together defensively and offensively, and I think that's what they're going to need to do if they're going to want to get a win against UNLV.
Well, they came away with a great one. Coach Gordy Presnell certainly going to be pleased with the 35-point win. We'll have interviews on the other side. A 76-41 win for Boise State. Talia Lundquist, Shay Shaw, joined by Danny Bays. Danny, the last 4 games, well, rather the 3 games leading up to this one were tightly contested, all single-digit wins. Now a blowout, and in many of those games, you have been a catalyst. You have started the scoring, and it's on the 3 ball. How have you been feeling?
I just try to do the best for my team. I think specifically this start was kind of rough for us. I think we've been starting games quite well, but I knew we needed a little bit of a spark from the bench, so I just gave it my all.
How excited are you to have your parents here live and in person? They're not watching you on a screen. How important is that to you?
So exciting. This is the first time they've seen me play in 2 years in real life, so I can't describe it. It's real. I'm just, they don't really get basketball that much, but hopefully they understand it a little bit today.
They can understand you shooting threes.
Yeah, they see it when it goes in.
Yep,
that's
exactly. And you're giving them a lot of opportunities for that. Just tell us how this whole team is responding to how well you're playing offensively and what it feels like just to be in such a groove.
I think it just gives us confidence, we have such a good inside-outside game, so when we're not shooting well, we'll get it into the bigs, let Abby and Elle go to work, and then when they're not, getting the shots that they want, we kick it back out, and we have Nat and Maya and myself on the 3, so it just gives us confidence, especially going into UNLV next week.
Are you excited for that game?
I am excited. It's revenge, for sure. I think we have so much potential, and I really think we have a great opportunity to show everyone, what we have.
I agree.
Well, Danny here finished the game with 16 points, 4 for 8 from 3. Danny, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to pass that headset off to Abby Muse. Put another good win.
Thank you.
Well, we've mentioned it throughout this entire game, Shay. It was just dominant, and Danny being such a catalyst for this offense. But it's all because of this one who's putting on the headset.
Yes, once she got going, it was able to get going out from outside 3. And Abby, how aggressive, or what has been your focus on the offensive side of the floor?
Honestly, just attacking the rim. I felt like we had an advantage in the post today. So that was just fun to play around with that. just play a fun game of basketball. Honestly, that's the goal.
Awesome.
So,
Would you consider that playing offense right now, the way that you are, this whole offense is making shots, getting it into the post, a lot of inside-out play, offensive rebounds. It really just looks like you're playing free and easy.
yeah, it definitely feels like it. Like I said, the goal is just to win, and the goal is to have fun, and it really, you don't have to make it more complicated than that. I mean, my teammates are great. They make it easy. So it's a good time out there, and I hope that's evident with how we play.
Oh, it absolutely is. You guys have been really playing well together as a team, and kind of what has sparked that? What has brought you guys together?
Honestly, we just love each other. We're always hanging out together. They're my sisters. We're all family. So I think just really coming together this season and buckling down and the dog days of January, like it's hard. So just sticking together through that, I think has led to our success.
Well, certainly a big win, 35 today. If you look forward, you've got UNLV coming up next. What is the mindset heading into that one?
We are excited. We're ready. We know it's going to be tough and it's going to be a challenge, but they're the bar in our conference, and so we are going to elevate to their level to hopefully surpass it.
All right, Abby Muse joining us, 15 points, just 2 rebounds.
Oh.
Got to see more from you.
Yeah, no, they were all scooping them up, so it was fine. I was running, so it was good.
Well, yeah, 15 just behind Danny Bay's 16. Abby, we appreciate you joining us in another good win.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for us here. Shay, I want to ask you finally, obviously Boise State did a lot right today, but what's the biggest takeaway going into probably the toughest opponent that they have on the schedule all year?
UNLV is going to be a lot more aggressive than Utah State was, so they need to take the way that they played tonight, take that and kind of elevate it and become dogs and just want to win and just have that aggression and just physicality that UNLV is going to bring.
The first game that we did, we asked Danny Bays, and I'm upset that I didn't remember to ask her again. We asked her, do you have swagger?
Yeah.
It finally feels like she's playing with it.
Yes, and I remember that question because she's like, no, I have
said
no swagger.
But at this point, she probably does.
If she doesn't, I would be surprised, and her answer better be yes. So I hope we get the opportunity to ask her that question down the road.
I certainly hope so as well. For a 4th straight game, Boise State wins in the Mountain West Conference while shooting over 37% from deep. A 76-41 win for Boise State. They go to 13-3 in their last 16 games at home and only looking better moving forward. We mentioned that UNLV coming up next week, and a lot to look forward to if you're a Boise State Broncos fan.
Yes, it's going to be a good road game, and Broncos they have the opportunity to pull it out.
That's Shay Shaw. I'm Taylor Lundquist. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.